right, so there's a reason that being a dentist pays what it pays. It's because you're doing work that other people don't want to do. Not only is it dirty, exhausting, but it takes an enormous amount of skill that takes years and years and an enormous amount of student debt in order to learn how to do. Not only do you have to pay to have a dental license, a DEA license, etc., but dentists generally have $300,000 to $500,000 in student loans when they first graduate out of school. That can take years and years to pay off. The vast majority of people in this world do not want to be a dentist. It's really a difficult and just kind of a gross job. You're messing with people's mouths. You're dealing with people who don't actually want to be there. People treat you pretty terribly when you're a dentist. It's really not a very good job, but that's the reason that it pays so well. If you are willing to devote a huge portion of your time to going to dental school, take out a huge amount of student loans just so that you're able to do a job that not that many people actually want to do, then you are going to be able to be paid well as a dentist. At least that's how it has been for a long time. In the past, dentists got to keep the profit that they made from doing procedures. I mean, it makes sense. If you're the dentist, you're the one doing the work, you're the one who gets to keep the profit. But for some reason today, there are a ton of people who want to make the money, who want to get the money that dentists have earned by going through school and by doing this job and make that money without actually doing the dentistry themselves. And for some reason, there are young, inexperienced dentists that are willing to go and work for these companies or for these other dentists in order to make money, not only for themselves, but making money for these companies. The result is that dentists today are working just as hard as ever, but every year dentists are making less and less on average. When adjusted for inflation, dentists today are making 15% less than they were making 20 years ago. In 2005, 85% of dentists own their own practice, but today that number is down to 70%. As a dentist, when you own the business that you're working in, you get to keep the profit. But when you are working for Aspen or Heartland or Joe Schmo dental associate position, you are not going to get to keep all of the profit. Delta Dental and United Healthcare are going to be paying the same exact amount per crown, per restoration, per exam that you're doing. But when you are working for someone else, you only get to keep a percentage of that profit. But when you are the owner of the business, you get to keep the profit from the work that you are doing. It's not like when you're working as an associate, Delta Dental is going to pay more for that crown. No, Delta Dental is going to pay the same exact amount. For every single piece of work that you are doing when you're working as an associate, you are just going to be keeping less of that for yourself. You are the one who went to dental school. You are the one who devoted 8 years of your life in order to get your dental degree and took out a huge amount of student loan debt. You are the one who should be keeping that profit, not the corporate officers at Aspen Dental, not some other dentist that you're working for that wants to keep some of the profit from the work that you're doing. All right, so I'm out on a walk right now, and I'm about to walk past an Aspen Dental, and I just wanted to show you this Aspen Dental here. So as we're coming up, you'll see here is an Aspen Dental right next to a Verizon wireless store. Now the dentist working in this Aspen Dental right now, it is a Tuesday, it's 3 o'clock. This dentist is probably making something like $150,000 to $250,000 a year before paying back student loans. Now that might sound like a lot of money, but when you realize that this dentist probably has student loan payments of $50,000 to $60,000 a year and also has to pay for licensing fees. And when you are in this kind of tax bracket, this dentist is probably paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year in taxes. So we are literally talking about a dentist who's in there right now working, probably making about $100,000 a year. But you gotta understand, they're working 5 days per week at Aspen Dental. This Aspen Dental here specifically, one of the days they are open until 7 o'clock. This dentist literally has to work until 7 p.m. in the evening. I'm not saying it's a terrible job, but the dentist that's working in there right now could be making an additional $150,000 to $200,000 more per year if they were owning their own business. You can be doing the same exact work, and because you are the owner of the business, You are getting to keep 100% of the profit rather than sharing that profit with someone else who isn't even doing the work as a dentist and hasn't even done the work of going to dental school. The reason that dentists get paid what they are getting paid is because they took the time to go to dental school and because they are actually doing the work on patients. And when you work for a place like Aspen Dental, you are sharing a percentage of that profit with someone else. All right, and here I'm walking by another dentist in the same exact town, dentist doing literally the same exact procedures as this dentist that was working at Aspen Dental. But this dentist is only working 3 days per week. Not only that, but I'm pretty confident that this dentist is making at least $500,000 per year in profit, not revenue, but profit. That is more than double what the dentist was making who was working at Aspen Dental. But this dentist is working fewer days. And not only is the dentist working fewer days per week, but this dentist, because this dentist is the owner of their own practice, they have so much more control, they have so much more freedom over what's taking place in this office. They get to choose who works there. They get to choose their schedule. They get to decide what procedures they do. They can choose what materials they want to work with. And the other thing to think about is that when you are the owner of a business and you tell someone else about where you're working, they're going to treat you with a lot more respect when they know that you are the owner of a business rather than working for someone else like Aspen Dental or as an associate position. I mean, I've talked to a bunch of different dentists, and when you talk to a dentist who owns their own practice, they're proud about it. They tell you, yeah, I work in this part of town, I own my practice, I doing a great job. But when someone tells you they're working for Aspen or Heartland, they basically are like apologizing. They're like, yeah, I work at Aspen Dental, I work at Heartland Dental. Oh, I work for Dr. blah, 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 but I want to be a practice owner one day. You are never truly going to feel like a dentist until you are the owner of a business. When you are working as an employee, you're always going to feel like an employee. You're never going to feel like you're actually reaching the potential that you set for yourself when you went to dental school. You literally spent 8 years of your life between undergrad and dental school and took out hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans in order to become a dentist. Why would you stop now as an associate? Why would you stop now when you've already made it this far? Why would you give up a percentage on every procedure that you're doing to pay for the salary of some executive at Pacific Dental Services? You're a dentist, you made it through dental school. If you get anything out of this, I want you to remember this one thing. When you work for someone else, they are going to get to keep a percentage of your profit. You only have so much time available. Why are you going to waste it making money for someone else when you could be spending that time building up a business for yourself?